Hello, I'm Dr. Silvia Binder. Have you been suffering from chronic disease that you just have not been able to cope with and overcome? Although you see brilliant physicians who care about you, they just don't provide the answers you're looking for. Well, my husband invented a medical device which is non-invasive and it has no side effects. It is a biofeedback device called the Ondamed system. And Ondamed stands for wave medicine, and it is a biofeedback device that helps us get to the underlying dysfunctions. We do not treat disease. We help to find stressed areas in your body and stimulate it with focused electromagnetic fields. This device has been around for 23 years. It's been used on millions of patients all around the world. And I am here to tell you, if you have a situation with yourself, with a loved one, suffering from pain, from chronic disease, symptoms, fatigue, being stressed out, not being able to sleep well, go consult with your primary physician and ask about Ondamed, or find a practitioner that is listed on our website, ondamed.net. Watch the following clips and learn about Ondamed and understand how important it may be for your future and your health.
My golden girl, I call her, my Ondamed golden girl. She's about 64 and she has diabetes and spinal stenosis. She has peripheral neuropathy. She's got severe osteoarthritis and just multiple diseases associated with aging. Her balance was really deteriorating. She was having some near falls. And she said, whenever I walk down the hallway at Mayo Clinic, they have this wavy carpet and I just can't seem to find my balance. I always have to hold on to the wall. So she came in for a treatment and we did program 160 motion process. And she left my clinic to go to Mayo Clinic for a follow-up with her physician, and I got this call about an hour later. She was just ecstatic. She was briskly walking down the hallway without having to hold on to anything. And she knew at that point it was a huge shift in her level of function and absolutely attributed it to the Ondamed.
Helps fatigue, helps sleep, helps pain. I had an example of a woman who I treated for Lyme disease, and she had this strange abdominal pain, sent her to GI doctors, sent her to the emergency room, had her on medicines, then did 3 Ondameds, and she came in after the 3rd one and said, my problem completely resolved, you know.
A diabetic with severe diabetes with severe peripheral vascular disease from that. Her feet were gray in color, and she had all the sores of hypoxic sores from poor circulation, and within actually 4 treatments, her feet had turned pink.
Currently I'm treating mostly colleagues and people who are in traditional medicine. It's been a wonderful opportunity to bring something to them that they've, one, not have the opportunity to be exposed to, but what's really profound is that when they have an opportunity to have a session, that they are amazed that there's anything like this. They've absolutely never heard of it in the traditional circles. One of the colleagues that I do treat came in one day from her chiropractor in pain, bent over, saying, I've been to the chiropractor, I've been to the massage therapist, and I am in so much pain. I quickly went home, brought the machine back, gave her her first session, and she was just absolutely amazed that she could have the session and then continue to work. I've subsequently continued to treat her, and she still says that this is the only thing that actually works. So of all the things that are available to her, Ondamed is the one thing that really works.
Hi, I'm Mary Von Olin. I'm a holistic practitioner. My practice is called Resonating Wellness. Our whole body operates on electricity. You know, we are energy. Our cells, our tissues, all of our organs vibrate at a certain frequency. The machine itself is giving off pulsed electromagnetic fields. You can't see it, but it is measurable. I, as a practitioner, am scrolling through all these different potential programs, these different frequencies of energy. The vascular autonomic signal, which is essentially your pulse, will have a certain change in the quality of it when there's a resonance effect. And so I'm trained to feel for a certain response. My job as the practitioner is just to listen to the body and administer what it seems to prefer. And then through the process, I can give the client information, and I might tell them, well, this energy program might be helpful, say, to support the nervous system. We know this one, it might be affiliated with, say, the kidneys in Chinese medicine. I strongly dislike the term alternative medicine because I feel like that should be the first line. And, unnatural things like drugs and surgery should be the alternative. When the natural doesn't work, then we should turn to that.
I was so tired, so exhausted all the time. The stress that I was under was just incredible. Being sick, not wanting to be sick, family issues, incredible stress. When you go into the Ondamed, it's like I can lay there and it's like a light switch just flips. I can just feel the stress drain right out of my body. And it's just a wonderful, wonderful feeling. It's what we call, my girlfriend and I both do, an inside body massage. That's how wonderful it feels, physically and mentally. It's like just being rejuvenated again. My life has changed so much. I feel like I'm 20 years old. I play leapfrog with my grandkids. I take my granddaughter on a bike ride. She rides in a chariot behind the bike. 66 years old, and I can do these things. It's incredible to me, just incredible.
My name is Gabby. I'm 15 years old, and I've been sick for the past 3 years.
When she was just a girl, she expected the world, but it flew away.
I used to be really athletic, got straight A's, high honor roll, had a lot of friends, and then one day I got sick. From that day on, I experienced very debilitating symptoms, and we spent the next year just trying to figure out what was wrong with me. From my local doctor to Mayo Clinic, no one had any answers. A whole year later, with my illness fastly progressing, we finally got a diagnosis: late-stage Lyme disease with several co-infections.
Before Gabby began treatment, her symptoms were at their worst. She couldn't talk, she couldn't walk, she used a wheelchair. She resembled someone with Parkinson's. Her eyes blinked rapidly. She had a lot of tics and jerking. Most of the time she'd spend laying on the floor in a seizure-like episode with her hands clenched, drooling. And other parts of the day she was just vacant and stared at a wall, not really aware of what was going on. It was devastating for our whole family to watch our daughter fall apart before our eyes.
I started treatment a year and a half ago through IV and oral antibiotics and natural supplements. Slowly but surely, I started making a lot of progress. This treatment has saved my life. About 6 months into my treatment, we discovered Ondamed. I'm always willing to try whatever's out there, so I was excited to see what Ondamed could offer me. At my first appointment, I was amazed at everything Ondamed treatments could do: treat my individual symptoms, pain, nausea, dizziness. It could detox, treat bugs, detect what's going on in my body. I didn't even know something like that existed. We right away started going for weekly treatments. For me, it was more of a gradual thing. I didn't feel perfect overnight, but after a couple months, we'd realize, I don't have that symptom anymore, or I can do this now. Everything's sort of falling into place. I have made so much progress over the past year. I went from being in a wheelchair full-time to mostly walking with a cane. My brain has improved dramatically. I wouldn't have even been able to make this video a year ago. I might even be able to go back to school soon. We drive an hour and a half one way because Ondamed works. I fully believe in it, and I am so glad I found it. Ondamed has played an essential role in my treatment, and with its help, I know I'm well on my way to a full recovery.
Hi, my name is Jason Clough. I'm 33 years old. Just recently I went through a major accident at work. I was unloading freight in a semi, and I was up on deck bars, and I fell back after I unstrapped him and fell between the two forks of a forklift. I broke my skull on my right side. I tore a partial tear of my rotator cuff on my right shoulder, and I injured my left knee. I had staples put on the back of my head. Went through some major pains. I was in the hospital for 4 days. Couldn't give me enough medication to take the pain away. Had to have all the lights off, had to be quiet, couldn't stand any light. My head hurt so bad, couldn't stand any noise. Under some real pain, couldn't hardly move. Finally, I was able to be released, and the doctors gave me medications and said, take these and slowly you'll improve. They finally send me home. I can't get out of bed. I can't get out of the couch. I don't want to eat, don't want to sleep, can't sleep. Have tinnitus in my ear, pressure. You lay down on the back of your head on the pillow, you can't sleep. Kids want you to play, you want to play the music. You can't have them play any music. You can't play with your kids, you're hurting so bad. We go through this, and finally Dr. Andrew comes up to me and he says, hey Jason, have you ever heard of Ondamed? And I said, no, what the heck is that? And so he told me about kind of how this machine works, and he says it'll detox your body so that your body can start to heal quicker. So I decided to trust the doctor, trust in the machine, and I kept coming back, and probably within the 5th or 6th session I came back, I started noticing some pretty major improvements. When I first came, I could barely walk in the office. The lights hurt my eyes still, my headaches were horrible. And I kept coming back, and pretty soon I started noticing that, man, I feel great afterwards. My shoulder doesn't hurt so bad, my knee doesn't hurt so bad, the pressure in my brain's going down. I can start to focus, I can start to see, I can start to hear, I can start to do things. I kept coming back. So I did that for 2 months, and after 2 months, going 4 times a week, then I started coming once, twice a week, less and less. Obviously noticing some major improvements, and within 5 months of my injury, so I only took Ondamed for probably 2.5 months, I was released to go back to work. And so I can think better, I can watch TV, little things that you would never even know about. My emotions, I'm kinder with my kids, I finally have my patience back, I finally can listen to music, I can get down and play with my kids, I can sleep at night. My tinnitus is so much better, it's not even funny. All these things are improvements. It's worth every dime. If you're thinking about what is Ondamed, look into it. If you're thinking about, it costs too much, it's worth every penny. Everybody I talk to that has any pain, I tell them, you need to go do Ondamed.
I woke up one day with a full body rash and itchy hives all over my body, probably from an antibiotic allergic reaction, and I couldn't get them to go away. So I did 1 treatment of Ondamed, probably about a week after the hives started, and the next morning I woke up and my entire upper body was clear of any rash or hives. The lower body was significantly lessened, and there was no horrible itching anymore. So I came back in for another treatment, and then the next day after that treatment, they were gone.
About 5.5 years ago, I started experiencing some really strange, out of nowhere symptoms. My stomach started acting up, and I would feel queasy off and on. I would have burning eyes, and I wasn't sure what was going on. And I'd go to the doctor, and they would just kind of look at me like, that's not a big deal. And this went on for about 1.5 years. And then at the 1.5 year mark, I had to have an appendectomy, had to have my appendix removed. And it was pretty routine, nothing major. But when I came out of that surgery, I couldn't keep anything down food-wise. Everything would go right through me. And so I started losing weight. The symptoms started getting worse. My eyes started burning even worse than they had before. My stomach was acting up. I couldn't digest hardly anything at all. I started having internal tremors, was exhausted all the time, and had to sleep like 12, 13 hours a day just to function. I started having other symptoms like bad skin rashes would just pop up out of nowhere. I started getting headaches. My thinking started becoming really foggy. I described it as brain fog. I just would feel like I wasn't really present, and I couldn't really engage in conversations, hardly at all, without sort of spacing out. A year went by, 2 years went by, 3 years went by. I'd seen countless doctors, and they all pretty much looked at me like I was from outer space. They couldn't find anything wrong, and so they thought it was all in my head. And every doctor I went to, I started feeling more and more alone, and got really, really depressed, really, really hopeless, and thought that, you know, this is going to be my life. This is going to be the rest of my life. And honestly, at times I thought, I don't think I can do this. I seriously thought I'm going to pray to die, because this is not a way that I want to live. Susan used something called an Ondamed machine, and when she explained it to me, to be totally honest, I thought it sounded a little bit out there. And the crazy thing was that in the first 5-10 minutes, she began identifying, with the help of this machine, some of the things that were indeed going on inside of me. And I felt like for the first time, all of my symptoms were being validated by someone. Just to feel that someone saw it and didn't look at me like I was nuts was beyond wonderful. With the use of the Ondamed machine, I feel like a new person. I'm sitting here, like I said, out in the sunshine, smiling, feeling happy, feeling like I'm thriving, enjoying life, able to go out with friends, able to travel literally the world. I went to London last week for a week and had a blast. I was never able to do that in the last 5 years, not even close. Going to work was a chore. You can come back from a place of hopelessness and feeling like your body is against you. And I've been able to come to back to a place of feeling like I want to live, like life is actually worth living again.